Hello, and thank you for joining us, everyone. We have a wonderful episode today on automation. Specifically, we are joined by John Delorier of ProLine and also of Peach State Roofing. So we're going to be talking about automation, what it can do for your sales process, what it can do for your business, and how specifically we can fit it into the roofing industry. Thank you so much for joining us, Courtney and John. John, do you mind giving us a little bit of background on yourself, just a little background on ProLine?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me today. So, been in the roofing industry a little more than 12 years. We just rebranded to PCA Roofing. This is our eighth year in business for my company. Proline has been built out of my roofing business and how to best serve the customer. Proline does a bunch of automations. It's a really, really effective tool using in conjunction with Roof Quote Pro. We use it every day, and in 2024, we're really ramping it up. Like we're really trying to drive as much traffic as possible using QR codes. Yeah, that's what we're excited about. Using Roofcoat Pro, using ProLine automations to follow up with customers.
That's so awesome. It's something that we talk about all the time of kind of the more that you can make out of what you're already doing. So if you're already using Roof Quote Pro, there's so much more that you can build onto it, a proper thank you screen to keep people engaged after they've given you their contact information. And more importantly, still go ahead and reaching out to them as quickly as you possibly can. I feel like you have like a tagline that you mentioned, if you're not contacting a customer within a certain amount of time, you might as well not bother, which I've heard you mention a couple of times. I think you usually reference like 38 seconds or something along those lines.
True. I everything this smart I steal from somebody else. I don't know where I stole it.
Hey, perfectly fine. We're all just regurgitating things we learned from somewhere else all the time. But it is true and it is important. Once that customer, if they walk away from that website, if they walk away from that experience, the chances of them coming back themselves organically are pretty slim. If you can keep them there, if you can keep on their mind and keep it connected with them, it means everything. So as we've gotten it through the general introductions, I want to turn it over to Courtney to break out our first question. Courtney, take it away.
Yeah. So when it comes to automation, like how do we use automation for lead development? Are there any hard or fast rules on how to build automation into a sales strategy?
So you need to first, I think, just pen and paper, write down your entire process. You need to know exactly your organization chart. You need to know who's talking to who at what time, and really take that. I know we say it a lot: the customer journey, customer experience, and that's where you'll know where to put automations. Um, there's you got to know that at least the framework and the structure of it before you even think about like what to say and when to say it. You need to know the best possible scenario to for your roofing company taking that customer from point A to point Z, whatever that is. I think that's the beginning of it, and then automations come after that as far as what to say and when to say it.
Awesome. I want to take us one step back really quick and go for someone who might be kind of new to this experience. So for those who aren't necessarily familiar with automation or as a sales tool or just in general, can you give us kind of the elevator pitch for why automation and what it means in our industry specifically?
A lot of people use the term automation. What I
Hmm.
use my phone. If you can use your phone, you're texting and calling, you're emailing, all those things. All you're doing is, in a nutshell, you're increasing touch points. You're making sure the customer understands what's going on in a really really clear way. Um, Often, people that own businesses or sales reps or production managers don't realize how much communication is needed to actually give that five-star customer experience. They're wondering why they don't get five-star reviews. And the customer may like you, but they probably don't necessarily love you if you don't overly communicate. People often think that what we're doing is overly communicating, and it's just not true. People are nervous about making this decision from the sales perspective and from the production perspective. And so automations help make sure that you hit those touch points at the right part of the sales process. It's For what ProLine does specifically, it's coming from my direct number. It's not coming from a company number. And that's really, really important because we're establishing that trust and keeping that trust throughout the whole process. That's really what automations should be doing for your company and your customers.
Okay, so kind of like taking the automations are coming from your regular cell phone number from whatever number you've punched in, but if they reach back, they do have access to a real person. So yes, you're on a cadence of communication, but anytime you decide to interact, we can jump right onto that same line and and answer those questions as they occur. Hopefully, we're ahead of them with the automation cadences we have in place.
Correct. Correct.
And I
And
would
this,
say it's enhancing that customer experience. Like automation can, again, it's just creating that smooth and you're getting to talk to somebody, which a lot of times you don't get to do.
that's very, very true. And a lot of times we're overwhelmed with our schedule, depending on what team, like what part of the team you're on. You forget to do it, and you're like, I'll do it tomorrow. And I've got my kid's soccer game. I can't do it right now. I got to go. Well, what's happening is you need automations in place to actually make sure that those touch points actually happen. The text message of the reminder of, hey, did you see our proposal? Here's a link to it. They have already told you that day. Like we have one right now. We have one right now. The guy told us verbally, ready to move forward. He's going to get automations today. We've already resent him the proposal. We're doing manual things to help him move along in the process. But I know we're going to forget. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now for us. In 2 hours, are we going to do it? Maybe, maybe not. ProLine's going to guarantee that that actually does happen. He's going to get another text, another email saying, "Hey, this is how you move forward. Click this link, sign the contract." It's going to move the sales quicker, and the customer really likes it too because they forgot too. They're busy, so
Hmm.
it's not a pushy thing or a pressuring situation at all. They have said we want to move forward. We just need to give them the opportunity. You just did it, Justice. You just sent me an email. I said, I don't know. Can you send me the email again for something that you sent me a couple days ago? Like
Hmm.
you moved it to the top of the list. It's the same exact thing. That's what automations do for your customers, and they love it. I loved it. I love getting that email at the top of the list. They love getting that text message at 5:30 or whenever they're going to get it, and they can click the link and move forward.
Yeah, and one of the other things I highlight a lot about price transparency, that we're all in the roofing industry. We have a general idea of what roofs are going to cost and what price per square is and all of that good stuff. For a lot of homeowners, they might have one interaction in their entire life with a roof replacement. They don't know what's going on. They are not as familiar with this process. So for the instant quote tool gives them that ballpark understanding right away. Automation also keeps them clued into that process. Like you said, they want to know what's going on. They're nervous about this. A lot of money is on the line. They're potentially spending more money on something than they've ever spent before besides their house. They're basically buying a car, and nobody wants to go buy a car without knowing the features, without knowing what the steps are involved, without knowing how they need to accomplish that. And the over communication that we mention it feels over communicative to us because we're in the know. We're the ones with the knowledge. We're possessing the understanding of what this process looks like. Our customers are not. Our customers do not have, they might have never walked on a roof, thought about a roof before until suddenly they've got a leak or they've got an insurance claim.
Very true.
Yeah. So next question that we've got on here. So how do we make automation feel less automated? That's kind of a big one because a lot of people feel that, everyone gets automated emails, everybody gets automated text messages, and they always have the stop to unsubscribe to let you know, which is, of course, an important factor. But how do we take that and kind of make it a little more human?
I think the biggest difference is the automation needs to come from your direct line. It cannot come from a different number. They've developed a relationship with an individual on your team. It could be inside sales, production management. It doesn't matter which part of the process. They're talking to Kathleen. They're talking to Cameron, to Clay. They're talking to me. They don't want to get another text message that says, right above their random text message that says get 20% off these pair of jeans, and then someone's like random like, oh, this is your roofing company, you should do this next thing. They don't want that. They want John to text them and say, hey, it was great meeting you today. Here is a short 32-second video of what to expect on roof day. Like that's what they want. They want that. And it goes from my phone to them. And if they respond, it goes right back to my phone. It's not going to like a central number that we all have to check and make sure that we're getting communicated with. That's how you personalize automation. you're using your direct phone number, and each member of my team has their own local phone number that they keep as a business number. And that's really what customers want, is they want that personalization from the direct phone number.
Sure. Okay. And how, if we're looking at ProLine specifically, I mean, I'm sure a lot of this applies to a lot of automation tools. Looking at ProLine specifically, what is the uptime to say somebody wants to get set up, they want to build automation, and they have no prior knowledge of how this goes. What does it look like? What does their onboarding look like? What's the training? What's the setup?
It's what you make it. I really think that for any tool, there's no silver bullet for anything that we have in all of business. Your CRM is just one of those things. You have to put effort in to make to actually generate some sort of ROI. So you can do this. You can get set up in a day. You're done. You're done. You onboard. You upgrade. You're done. You're set up. Everybody gets their own number. We have a great onboarding process as well. We have other partners that help with customized onboarding as well. It just depends on how much effort you're willing to put in, how much skill you and your team have to set these up. ProLine gives you all the templates, so you're not having to build templates and understand this part of. They're all there for you. That's the out of the box. There's ProLine templates right there for you. I recommend people putting effort in there and actually customizing the templates for what you would say, what I would say. We have used a lot of psychological knowledge to understand what to say and when to say it, the cadence of frequency of when you say these things. But yeah, I mean, if you can use a phone, you can use ProLine. The automations are just an incredible tool to help you actually do speed to lead, do amazing sales follow-up, 5-star review generation. Those are just a few things that you can use with automations that are just built into ProLine from the beginning.
Awesome. Excellent introduction there to kind of how it goes. And when we're talking about these touch points, yeah, I mean, every company kind of has their own corporate voice, but how would you say is a reasonable cadence for people to expect, for a homeowner to expect of maybe they've gotten an instant quote and they're waiting for their rep to actually come out and meet them, or they're waiting for, what kind of a cadence do we put together here? How quick and how early and often per se are we trying to be with this?
If someone's using RoofQuote Pro on my website, the automation is going to come right away to their text and their email if they put the information in. That's really important. And it's a link to schedule an inspection if they want to. So we're giving value right away. Okay, you see this ballpark price. It was probably higher than you thought it was going to be, but we need to do an inspection. And they understand in 2024, they just don't trust this technology. It's pretty new. It's blue ocean. There's not a lot of people doing this. Not a lot of roofing companies using these tools. So they're like, okay, well, I thought it was going to be 20,000 and it's showing 26,000. But there's a link right here to schedule an inspection. We give that right away. And that's really important because if they're doing this after hours, which most people are, you guys have a lot of the stats on it, but a lot of our leads come at like 9:30 at night.
Yep.
And so we want to give that option so that we just have these appointments on the schedule for the following day. And then leading up to the appointment for us, we try to get to somebody within 24 hours, 48 business hours at the longest. So we don't have a lot of cadence in between there, but we still try to have something there. So we're having more touch points. We're also, linking up with dope marketing, sending handwritten notes and postcards and things like that. So we're trying to increase our touches leading up to the inspection. And outside of that, what we're doing ProLine, we already write the estimate. So if they're pre-qualified, we're ordering Eagle View through ProLine. We have the estimate ready. And 75% of the cases, we have the estimate completed, except for the inspection report prior to actually arriving to that inspection. So that's a really big thing because now you have an iPad, you're showing the customer the good, better, best option. That's
sure. Yeah. Yeah. Armed with an Eagle View, armed with all of this information walking into it. Sure.
Yeah.
I was going to even talk about, what are some common integrated automation tools, that some people don't always think about. I know we first go to, the customers visiting on the website, but what are some unique ways or cool ways that you've seen them being configured, integrated with the current tools that they use today?
Like how people are creatively using Roof Quote Pro, is that what you're saying? Or just or
No, like just automation. Like, is there, some unique ways other than, just as far as like how you see it fit, or,
Sure.
benefiting people in the construction industry too?
I think that it goes back to what I was saying in the very beginning. You need to understand your process and every step of the way, and really what person interacts with the customer at this time and that time, and all the way through the very end, and even to the referral process as well. You need to write down the whole thing. It needs to be typed out so the whole company, and not you can't just hoard that information. You need to share it and continually train that. Then you'll know, because everyone's business is different. You interact a different way. The way leads come in may be different. The way you do proposals are different than the way I do it. You need to understand that for yourself, and that's how you really understand where to put the unique automations. But in general, I would say rule of thumb: more is better. A lot of people talk about 7 touches prior to the inspection. We have not achieved that every time. We want to do that, but I think that's just one of the examples of like use automations. It doesn't just have to be a text and an email. It can be sending a postcard, sending a handwritten note. You're doing these things that are more brand awareness and understanding, like they're getting 3 to 5 quotes. And by the way, we're mostly retail. Like we do a lot of insurance work too, but we're mostly retail. So if we know they're going to get 3 to 5 quotes, we want them to remember us. And
Hmm.
how many times as a roofing company owner, you're like, I forgot who you are. I like you, but I forgot your company name. Like, you need to have a lot of touches. You can't just accept the norm, because other people will step in and increase their touches with that customer so that the customer remembers them. So using automations for that is a huge, huge deal. It's another reason why, not just before the inspection, but after the proposal has been sent, you need to continually follow up. We're a little more, I would say our cadence is a little more aggressive than most people. We want to touch some sort of email. We kind of alternate email, text for 2 weeks pretty consistently, because that's when they're going to make the decision. 10 to 14 days, they're going to get 3 companies, and then those other 2 companies are never going to send a proposal or not going to do it in a timely manner. And so we're going to have to wait for those people. And then we've sold lots of jobs where I don't even know which order we were in the pecking order, but we're the only ones who reached out. We're the only ones who communicated. We're the only ones who sent a proposal in a timely manner. And we just got the job, and they would show us the other proposals, and our pricing is typically the highest.
Hmm.
We're the highest roofing contractor in both of our markets. I'm pretty sure of that. And they would tell us, we're willing to go with you because you showed us, your phone texted me the most. You texted
Hmm.
me. You showed interest more than anyone else. Yes, you were $3,000 higher. We know you're going to do an excellent job. You have great warranties, and you showed the most interest. And so that's another way after the proposal, you can use automations just to make sure that you're still showing your interest in that and wanting their business.
Yeah. And it's kind of hits on 2 points from a customer perspective of the the customer kind of needing the help to make that decision, and they're primed and ready to make a decision in that 2 to 3 week period, that their mind is set to this is the project that they're focusing on, that we've got a couple of things we're doing on our house, but we've got to replace our roof. And the other side is the urgency of a customer who needs a roof replacement, and them understanding that cadence of constant communication, knowing that these people are available, you're here and you're connected, and I'm not waiting 3 days to get your proposal. I'm not waiting a 3-day period at any point to have communication. I know that if this is really urgent, I know you're here and ready and hungry for this job, not in a desperation sense, but there and prompt and available, to have their needs met.
Make it easy. So Roof Quote Pro makes it easy. But you're giving the customer what they want. I'm not a proponent. I do not believe the customer is always right. I believe the customer is actually typically wrong. We need to give the customer what they want, though, which is an easy path to use our services. You need to guide them through this. We are professionals. We are going to show them exactly what they need, and they need to trust us to do the right thing. This we all know about like different types of customers that we want to work with and don't want to work with. But what RoofLe Pro does is it gives them what they want. It's 9:30 at night. They want to know a ballpark price. They may be skeptical. They're like, this is cool. They'll use this. And we've had lots of people I can see they'll use RoofLe Pro like 3 times in the same
Mm-hmm.
day because they're like, all right, what about this? And I'll oh, I didn't move the measurement here, so now it's more accurate. Like it's there, it's almost gamified. So you're giving them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They want a ballpark price. All right, then what do they want? They well, now what do I do? I need to schedule an inspection. I don't trust this is right. So I'm gonna schedule this is right. Whatever the reason is, whatever their objection is, you just make it easy.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. A lot of people just want to speak face to face with a human being before they spend $30,000 on
right.
anything. You know, I'm one of those people. I work at ROOFLE. I would still it doesn't matter who it is. I would still request somebody to come out and talk to me and put their professional eyes on the project.
So
You know?
and that's a good point. We work the majority of our customers are 45 years and older. So they're not young people. They have really nice homes and they want the job done well. They don't even care if they meet us. They just want somebody to come out there and show them company cam pictures of their house and then show a
Mhm.
video. And they're like, oh, you were there. You understand. I know you took this satellite image of my house and you gave me a price, but I want you to be there and touch and feel the granules and all whatever it is. So
Mhm.
you're exactly right. Like you need to give the customer what they want, which is probably that. They probably do want you to at least go there to see their flashing and see if they caught that the pipe boots were cracked or whatever. It's a test. It's all a test. Like, should I trust this person? And I say person unintentionally because it is the automation coming to the person, to the sales rep.
Mhm.
It's not the company. Even you can have 10. We've had ProLine. We have a lot of companies with way more than 10 sales reps. Doesn't matter. The person, the company is still selling that person to another person, and that's it because people
Yep.
buy people still. It doesn't change. The brand can be great, but they still want to talk to that person. They want to know that John was on my roof and he looked at the flashing around my chimney that I thought was jacked up, and he pointed it out before I even told him about it. So it's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask if you have some of this available or off the top of your head. I wanted to ask if you had some stats kind of showing close rate changes or anything like that based on incorporating automation.
I've done it for a long time. So the story that we tell on like ProLine is that I close to doubled my close rate. For real, people don't actually know their close rate. They don't actually do the simple math of like I went to 60 appointments this week and I closed this many jobs. That's your close rate. Like there's no if you're closing higher than 45%, then you probably need to raise your prices. That's just my take on it for most people. For retail, that's generally what you're thinking about. So I was way below 20%. And then I was way above, I was like at 42% by the first iteration of what ProLine was. So it wasn't a nice package that it is now. We were just combining Twilio and
Hmm.
MailChimp and all these things together and using Zapier. That's how we started ProLine a few years ago.
Okay.
So anecdotally, it doubled my close rate because just for the fact that we were only using it, we weren't using Speed to Lead or anything. We were just using sales follow up. We were
Okay.
just like, I was just overwhelmed with leads, and we were just
Don't
texting.
fall off the radar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were just texting people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know I need to do it. You're the only one who followed up. Here you go. Here's the route."
Hmm.
So
That's such an interesting concept that it's like it might not even take the best formula, the best automation system is just making sure that you're never the one to drop the ball. If you can be the one roofer in your market that never drops the ball, how much more are you going to collect just by what everyone else has dropped?
yep, and there's a lot of smarter people that have used automations in more creative ways than I have, but I would say the the two biggest important things are that the automations are done in the right cadence. Y- Other than just cussing a customer out, it just needs to let them know that it's you. That's who you are. You're with this company. This is a short bit. You can embed a video, whatever it is. You can get creative with it like that. But the fact that you do it in a consistent way, and you're not scared to send these automations, that's a big thing. People deal with fear about
Hmm.
automations. I'm going to make these customers mad. We we have people that opt out of our text. That's fine. Or they say, hey, I went with somebody else. No one's cussing us out. We've done tens of thousands of automations. These customers said they wanted a roof. We're here. We're texting them. There's nothing. It's very easy when somebody doesn't want it. So that's the first thing. Cadence. Make sure your cadence is aggressive enough that you're staying top of mind. The second thing is that you actually do the thing you say you're going to do. Like, you have to actually develop the whole process so that at each part of these stages you're actually doing these automations. Like, it's a micro level and a macro level. You have to do both things to make them effective. That's really what I see. And in fact, well, I say maybe the most important thing is that it's actually coming from an individual's number. That may be the most important part about any type of automation. If it's not coming directly from a sales rep's number or an inside sales rep or a production manager's number, it's far less effective. People are far less trusting. You're far less likely to have an increased close rate. If John went out there to give you a proposal and then Peach State Roofing is sending you an automation, that's not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's if
Yep.
I'm texting and I've already called them manually and texted them and emailed them manually, I've done a follow-up at least, and then they see more coming from my phone number, it's way more effective.
And how early in that process are you assigning a rep? Or, I mean, I know you work with a relatively small team of sales reps, but are you, as a lead comes in and you do that first kind of interaction of you've scheduled an inspection, do they already have a rep assigned, and is it already coming from that rep's phone number that, hey, I see that you scheduled with me, Steven, I'm going to be out there on Tuesday?
Sure. So that's a great question. A lot of people do it differently, but we like the inside outside sales rep model. So Kathleen is doing the inside sales work. And so we're making sure that she's sitting in front of a computer during business hours. First of all, she's answering the phone. That should be a no-brainer. Answer your phone no matter what. Use Ruby Receptionist. If you don't have that, use it. I used them for years, but Kathleen answers the phone and she's the inside sales rep. I know a lot of people have reception and then inside sales, or a reception and then we're going to have a sales rep call you, or maybe a receptionist and then we're going to put you on the calendar. It's not the same. You're not giving the customer what they want. Inside sales should be a higher trained person, and it's not complicated. You just need to understand your process. I've given Kathleen a list of questions she asks every single time. So she's pre-qualifying people. It's a really, really important thing that inside sales rep is taking care of that customer. Then she understands which market. We have 2 markets. So she understands which market we're in, and she can assign. You can do it round robin. You can assign it by however you assign sales reps. Then she assigns it. Once they're pre-qualified, she starts the proposal. Then a sales rep gets assigned, and then off to the races. Like, the manual communication, the text communication that's automated is all coming from that sales rep after the inside sales rep has pre-qualified the person.
Okay. Yeah, and that makes perfect sense, kind of passing the ball along and letting that customer know each step of the way, that, who's going to be taking care of everything from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Before we jump to our kind of last stage of the more formal discussion, I do want to highlight, we've gotten a couple of questions coming through the chat. Please don't be dismayed by the fact that we have not addressed those yet. We are doing a live Q&A here at the end. So once we're done with the kind of formal interview aspect, we'll cut through these one at a time in order. And anything else that you have, go ahead and throw them in the chat. We'll save them for the end. So any questions that you have, any points that you want to make, anything you want to share here, we will take those one by one as soon as we're wrapped up on the more formal side.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention, John, I don't think anyone has ever complained about being over communicated to. And I know when it comes to those big purchases, that's very important to keep that communication. So this is just an awesome way to open that up and still have a personal feel, even though we're not face to face. And
Sure.
We've all gone through the life where we, that as much as we'd love to be face to face, there's still questions that linger beyond, and you're allowing that personability to happen throughout the whole process.
Yep. Very true.
Yeah, it's amazing how much control we have with non-human tools and non-human interaction, that we're at a point in society that people are looking for that as much as they're looking for a human to come out and speak with them. It's the same way that people want to speak with a person, in that moment that they're going to try to make a decision. They need someone to come out here and inspect their roof for them to feel confident in the decision that they're making. At the same time, just as much, they want a ballpark number at 9:30, at 10 o'clock at night as they're lying in bed and remember, oh yeah, I've got to get something figured out because the roof is leaking in the bathroom. And they want both sides of that. And we're kind of coming to a point that there are tools in place that can offer all of that. The solution is there for whatever your specific customers are looking for. If they want a more personal touch, if they want instant answers and instant solutions to their problems and questions, we're getting to a point that it's there. We can actually do this and actually combine both sides of that coin, to meet the needs of our customers.
It's very true.
Courtney, you want to wrap us up with the last one before we jump into Q&A?
Yeah, and I know that we kind of talked about how automation, is fitting into the sales cycle, but how are you combining automation with our tool, with ROOFLE?
It is, I don't know if everybody does it like me, but I think they do. I think that the onboarding team does it the similar way. I know it's very similar. So again, if somebody uses, we don't have specific landing pages for RoofLe Pro. We just use the same QR code for everything, for door hangers, for postcards, everything's the same. We'll eventually get more complicated and really test. But right now, we just want people to use RoofLe Pro. We want them to get there. We want to gather those leads the best way we can. I would say one thing that we do, we're with automation, it's not necessarily a ProLine, but we're with dope marketing, the address only leads that come through. A lot of people are like, I don't want to give you my number, my name, whatever. Okay, fine. We'll send you 8 postcards now. And so we know we don't do it blindly. We do actually do like Google Street View investigate, and then we're like, oh, this neighborhood has a bunch of roofs that are, it looks, this picture's 1 year old and there's 20 roofs. So we're gonna send that person and then probably their neighbors postcards and then probably go door hanger. That's one way we use RoofLe Pro in a really cool way that's not ProLine. It's using dope marketing and using door hangers and postcards and yard signs. We do a lot of yard signs. But the way that we use it the majority of the time is when somebody does the complete RQP lead, like an actual full lead with name, address, phone number, email, they're going to get those automations directly from Kathleen in this case. So I would suggest that whatever the automation is, it comes from a real person, not a company. It doesn't say, hey, thanks for reaching out to Peach State Roofing. This is Kathleen. You say, this is Kathleen with Peach State Roofing. Thanks for using our instant roof quote. Here's a link. It's a Calendly link to schedule an inspection. And that's it. That's a text. And I think the email is a little more formal, but that's essentially how we use it. That's wildly effective for us. Something short, sweet, and it gets to them right when they're doing it is a really, really important thing.
And just the factor of putting the salesperson's name before the company of this is Kathleen with Peach State Roofing, rather than I'm speaking to you as a company. And now here I'm a person I've got a tag on, instead of coming to them as an individual human being to say, hey, I'm representing a larger company, but this is me. I'm here to help out. What do we got?
It's true.
And I love that you guys do it in this way. And I know, and I've talked to a couple contractors that are scared. That sounds creepy. It sounds weird to send something as instant, but we have to also remind ourselves and think as the customer. If I'm on a website and I'm looking at a product and I'm investing some decent money I've earned, I want to be able to have something where that open line communication is started right away. I'm on your website, I'm looking at it. There's nothing better than having the ability to ask a question right then and there that I'm not getting right on your website.
Very true. We haven't talked about financing at all, but another thing that you guys do really well visually is that sticker shock, $20,000. Oh no, this is $200 a month, whatever it is. That is a huge converter for us, because the conversation goes from screw this, I'm not doing 20, I'll wait for insurance to pay for it, to I know I have to do it now. It's $220 a month. And so that's another thing we haven't we don't have to go deep into that, but like that's another way that you guys help convert actual automations that they click the Calendly link and they schedule the appointment. They're like,
Mhm.
"Saw you had fine." We've done more financing this year than we've done in the past 7 years combined. Because
I love to hear it. I love to hear it.
it is,
Awesome.
and we haven't really changed. I mean, you guys have definitely made it way easier for us. Um, but that's the economy that we're in right now. If you're
Mhm.
doing this, and we're financing a guy right now, we're doing a 6 month no interest, no payments, because Nationwide's dragging their feet, and he's having leaks every time. So guess what? We offered financing. He has 6 month runway. We're going to do the roof. We're going to get paid faster, and
Mhm.
he can work with the insurance company. It's another huge way that you guys are really helping us treat the we treat insurance and retail the same. So that's one way that RoofCo Pro really does well for us.
Man, you are like living my perfect example scenario that I speak to people about all the time is that if an insurance company is dragging their feet, the customer still needs their roof fixed. If
Yep,
it's an insurance claim on their roof, the customer needs that to be done. If you can give them that 6 month or 1 year period to deal with their insurance company, they can get their roof fixed today. You can get paid today, and they can deal with their insurance company later on, and they can still pay that down without paying a penny of interest, as long as their insurance covers the entire bill. um yeah, and it's something that you know I look at them in the same way. Cars and roofs, they're in a pretty rough kind of similar bracket of price. And the fact that you can finance a roof now makes all the difference in the world, because they come out like, car payments, sometimes low car payments, sometimes high car payments, but you're typically sitting in that 200 to 500 a month range, that a lot of people can fit another car payment into their budget, and a lot of people cannot drop $35,000 on a roof or a Suburban,
it's true. Very, very true.
that's the way that I like to look at it and present it to to contractors interested in using it. Is Sorry, and I'll go off on a tangent if I don't stop soon. I'm big on financing. That's kind of what I focus on primarily, but it's a real genuine tool that can close a lot more deals just by giving the customer exactly what they want and need in that moment, and letting them know from the first minute they interact with your company that you're there for them, and you have that resource.
Very true.
John, is there anything else that you want to kind of make sure that nobody forgets, nobody misses about ProLine, about automation in general, before we jump into a Q&A?
I would say that so ProLine is, why do we need another CRM in the roofing space? Why do we need that? It's a full CRM. It is a very robust communication platform. So it's your entire phone system for your business. It has an incredible CRM with amazing automations that are direct to different people. But I'd say we built this intentionally with the communication in mind. We always see these comments about like everyone has a terrible app. It's built. It is an app. It is a mobile app that is very, very strong. It's not what you see on the app and what you see on the desktop. 95% of it's the exact same. There's some
That's
things
huge.
that, I mean, there's nothing, you're not sacrificing in the field. You're only limited
Mhm.
by your self service. That's it. That's the only thing you're limited by. But in the field, you can do everything you can do from the computer on the app. It's a really, really big thing. And
Wow.
because I was a one man show for a long time, I was essentially my own sales rep. So
Mhm.
I wanted my app to work just like, I was very frustrated with using other CRMs that it was an afterthought. The
Mhm.
communication part was an afterthought. The automations were an afterthought. I wanted everything to be from that sales rep's perspective first. And that, sales reps are successful and they like the tool and it makes them sell more jobs. Sales managers and owners like that too. So that's the position that we built ProLine off of, is kind of sales rep first. Mobile app is awesome, and then everybody from the back end and the leadership love it too because it's functional.
That's a great way to
And
put
that
it, in that it's a sales tool. Fit it to the salesperson.
Mhm.
The person who's going to be using it the most, fit it to them, because if they're doing their job, their boss is doing his job, and his boss is doing his job or her job, as
Yep.
the case may be. But yeah,
Same with
fitting it to
production
the person
too.
using it.
So if you got production managers too, same thing. They're not limited by being in the field. They can do all the same things. It's really important that you don't hamstring all the people that are out there actually doing the work,
Mhm.
and managing these jobs. So that's another difference about what Proline does.
That's
No, that's
awesome.
awesome to know because there's so many systems that we all have. And to know that your system is really taking everything and putting it in one unique spot. Now you can do your communications and everything right from there. I think that's significantly what makes you guys very different.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we really think we have something special. Um, Knowing what everyone is doing at every part. If you're assigned to that, if you're inside sales, production manager, outside sales, what does it doesn't matter. If you're assigned to that project, that customer, you can see and hear every recorded phone call, every text message, every email. You're not limited. You're not asking the next person on your team what's happened in the situation. It's a
Hmm.
complete activity feed.
Mhm.
That's why it's built on a communication platform. We know everyone knows what everyone's doing. And so it's really rewarding and it's way less frustrating. When we have our daily meetings, we have a daily meeting every day. We don't ask redundant questions anymore. Everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah.
It's going to be nuanced things that we're talking about a project. It's not going to be something. All the communications there because it's built on the phone system.
Yeah,
Oh, that
there's the old adage of if you can properly write down a problem, it's 90% solved. And if every call is recorded and every communication is recorded, anything's already properly written down. Your problems are 90% solved, and now everyone's on the same page to be able to address them.
mhm.
Yeah,
Very
that's a massive feature.
yeah.
Especially if you get off the phone, you're like, wait, what did he say? Did I make sure that I got that
Yeah,
correctly? No,
Did
you
I miss
did.
anything?
you can be a one man show, and this is still wildly like important for you because I don't remember what I did 2 days ago. So like, if I can listen to the 3 minute phone call, oh, they did say this. We are going to do brown drip edge, whatever it is, and then you make notes in there, and there's all kinds of ways that you can make sure that you're not calling the customer back for some embarrassing reason because you didn't listen. So it's like
Mhm.
it's a really really important thing. Communication is if you can exceed in communication, you can win at selling roofs.
That's awesome.
Well, you mentioned something that again, I just like want to hit on this point. You said one person show. So your CRM is perfect from any small person, one man show to anything plus that. That's very different than most CRMs out there.
It's very true. We built it off of you don't have to be some super complicated process driven one man show. I mean that's what it was for
Mhm.
years. You just need to know that you're communicating. This is what we all want. Why do you have a CRM? To keep myself organized. Well, that's one thing.
Hmm.
You still have to have accurate information that actually is helpful to sell roofs, to produce roofs, to
Mhm.
we haven't even touched on like the reporting, the budgets, the way we do payment processing. Like it's all there. Like there's you can be a one man show, and this is the best CRM in the roofing space, and you can have 25 sales reps and do $50 million, and this is the best CRM in the roofing space.
Man, you heard it here first, folks. Yeah, do not forget that flexibility kind of means everything, really, because there are so many companies that maybe start out as a one man show, and if you can get something like this, if you can get something that can spread and multiply your efforts, you can then become a 25 team show. You can become
Mhm.
that massive, multi-state organization if you have the organization in place and kind of the setup in place. um, let's go ahead and jump into some of these Q&A. First, a couple of things we'll knock out really quick. This is being recorded. Everyone who is registered for this will receive the recording afterwards. So it will be fully accessible. You can kind of speed up through it, skip over things that you've already seen, and you can come back to as pivotal points that you want to. All perfectly available for you. Next, direct question. Can these automations be integrated with HubSpot? Do you guys do integration with other CRMs?
We don't. So we started out as a tool
Okay.
until August of last year. We're a complete CRM. We are the platform. So we don't do it. We used to integrate with all these CRMs. It would become redundant. You'd have to do dual data entry, which is pointless. The whole point is to make your life easier. So ProLine is the CRM. ProLine is your platform for everything.
Awesome. Next question is Roofle based. Is there a Roofle app? There's not currently a Roofle app. We are a web-based platform. It makes our platform a lot easier to maintain, manage, keeps us dynamic, and it makes our updates extremely quick. So sometimes we can see a problem and have it fixed within less than 24 hours. Sometimes we see an improvement that's available, and one of our engineers can jump in and kind of make that happen on the fly. So that is part of why we stick with a web-based app, but we are not currently a portable app at the moment.
But I do want to bring up that you can save it on your smartphone screen. So whether you're using a tablet or an iPhone, you can directly go to our portal, and you can simply press that little square up button, and that will allow you to pin that to your homepage. It'll look just like an app. You won't even know the difference.
There you go. Thank you, Courtney. Have you used automation at all to follow up on completed jobs to farm new leads? Do you guys have anything in place for follow-up?
We have a template. It's included. It's called the referral follow-up. So you can choose the cadence for that. I do every 6 months, but we also do, and I actually get a lot of leads from that because people are not thinking, they got the roof done. They're happy. They're going to write a 5-star review. They're not thinking about referrals at that moment, but they're like, I really love you guys. I'll refer you to anyone, right? We've all heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we want to keep you accountable for that. Like,
yeah, do that, please.
We're going to send you an email. Here's a link. Here's what you do. So yes, we do farm, new leads with referral generation in ProLine. And you can choose. You can either choose to automatically move them there if you have great customers, or you can choose not to if you have a less than great customer.
Yeah, I mean, rough jobs, rough experiences, whatever the case may be, not every customer is going to give you a 5-star review. Not every customer should be invited to give you a 5-star review, just kind of depending on how things shook out. Is that total visibility different from what's available in other CRMs like HubSpot and JobNimbus, the kind of keeping everything recorded, everything visible to every member of the team?
I do not know. I have done demos with HubSpot a long time ago and Engage last year at JobNimbus. From what I see, they do not include everything. They're not individual phone numbers that every team member can see. We have a lot of Engage customers come to ProLine, actually. They like the idea. I was a JobNimbus user for 5 years. I like JobNimbus. I can send you their testimonials of why they switched from that. They wanted that. I think it's great. I thought it was amazing that these other tools have automations. It's just different when it's an afterthought or an add-on. It's the same reason you just said, like, why is ROOFLE web-based and not app? It's very difficult to get the app portion with the automation, with the communication platform. It's very difficult to do it when you don't start as the foundation of those automations. That's a technical thing above my head, but that is essentially how it's been explained to me, is that if you don't have a very strong app that understands how to send text messages directly from a phone number, it makes it really difficult, and it's clunky, and it doesn't work, and you can't communicate the same way. You can't show two-way text messages the same way. You can't show all the emails both way. You can't, it's just different. It's what it is. If you want to see everything, I know that ProLine can do that. I don't know about the other ones currently, but the feedback that I've gotten is that that's not true.
There you go. We've got kind of the $1 million question here from Alexis Strickland. How much is ProLine monthly?
So it's a great question. I haven't reviewed the pricing recently. It is, let's go, useproline.com. Let's go look. It's right on our website. Useproline.com. Pricing page.
Useproline.com, no dashes, spaces, anything like that?
Useproline.com /pricing. You can see
/pricing. I'm going to throw that in the chat. I'm assuming useproline.com can also be used to book a demo and get some more information. Is that where we want to send people? Great.
Click that green button at the top right. Book a demo. You'll see how it is. So current pricing if you want automations, it's $447 a month. And that's for one location and one phone line. And then you can add additional users on top of that. That's the one that I've been talking about. We have a starter CRM it's an amazing CRM. It has a lot of the same stuff to talk about. It just doesn't have the automations. That's the difference. So if you have a question about what's the difference between starter and business, and then platinum is for like our larger clients that have a lot of people using. We call them pro credits. It's essentially the quantities of automations that we sent out every month.
Awesome. I see that. No spam likely flagging. That's a huge deal. That is a really big deal. How do you achieve that? Is it by using a local area code?
This is very technical, but just know that we did a lot of work to get that. We have to do all the carrier registrations in a very specific way. If you have to have a website and you have to have specific verbiage on your. It's not crazy. You can go to my web. Go to peachstateroofing.com. You'll see my website. It's just very. You click those things and they'll be like. It's basically an opt-in. It's
Okay.
I don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole, but we have worked really, really hard making sure that the carrier registration is accurate, that you're not gonna be spamming these people all the time, and then they're gonna answer your phone. Like that's a really, really hard thing to achieve in this like communication space of technology. It took a long time, and we're really happy that we have that. Actually, it's very difficult to get.
We have a little bit of experience with that. We've messed around with stuff like that so that we can actually log all of our calls and texts and keep everything organized. And we had to go through a somewhat similar process for a few of our phone lines to try to get them registered that way.
And it wasn't easy, and it was a very long time for it to get approved. I mean, it's a process if anyone, and I will still say we're still waiting on a certain one to get approved, and it's been probably 2 months now, and we're still. You
should actually reach out to ROOFLE, and the team will know. There may be some tips that they can help you.
Awesome.
Because we have like a 2-day window now. I don't want to say it's recorded now, but that's on average. We don't promise that, but they've gotten so much better because they understand our process and they understand like the expectations. So like the carrier approves it typically in like 2 or 3 days, and it was like 6 weeks. So
wow. Okay.
We are a communication tech company, so we should be really good at it. So that's
awesome. There's no other CRMs that are promising that or even have that short of time frame. So that's really unique to know that about you guys. Definitely setting you guys apart from the competition there. We did get one more question as far as like, what is your ideal revenue range for your platinum package? So who falls into that type of category?
So it's going to be it's more about the number of users. So the pro credits are where the limiting factor are. So every time we send a text message, it actually costs ProLine money. So that's why we have those 2 different price ranges, or any automation actually. It costs ProLine money. So we have people that are doing 10+ million on the platinum plan, but they may not use all the pro credits. Like it's pretty hard to use that 5,000 on the business one. It's pretty hard to use all those credits, even if you have a bunch of reps, because you're talking about thousands and thousands of text messages. And the reason we have this in there is because people, as we all know, they spam. So they will take our tool, pay for 1 month, and then spam for like, I don't know, whatever thing they're selling. And it's a way to abuse the system. And it's a way that's why we have to go through the carrier registration, because people will abuse it. And so they would just, rack up one random person, I think in East Asia, racked up like $800 in 1 day of text messages from ProLine. So we figured that out really fast. We figured out we don't want to do that anymore.
There you go. Okay. If we have any other questions come through, go ahead and shoot us your questions if you've got them. Otherwise, we'll let John get out of here. We've held him for maybe a little bit longer than we had planned to, but either way, it's been a really valuable conversation. John, thank you so much for your time with us. Thanks for your willingness to always kind of jump in here and give us your opinion on some things, give us your perspective, and especially in this case, share so much knowledge with us just about how automation can be used, different unique aspects of it, and also kind of helping to address some of the fear that people have of stepping into that space and turning something like this on that I feel like a lot of people can be intimidated by.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. I would say just RoofCode Pro is an amazing tool. It really does stand out among the other people in the roofing space, and we all know who they are. But if you're selling a premium product and you value your company, you need a premium process, which is exactly what you guys do. It's really important that we. I just went dark. Did I go dark? I did.
No, we can see you.
Okay,
You
great.
could still in here, yeah.
So I kudos to you guys, and I agree. Just on its own, RoofCode Pro is amazing. I would say the automations are going to help ease that stress. If you're thinking you're on the fence about using RoofCode Pro, having an automation like that just reached out to a customer, that alone is, and it doesn't just find something that will tie into RoofCode Pro and that will send a customer a link to schedule an inspection, and you'll see a large difference in conversion than just using the tool alone. Because, like you guys talk about a lot, it happens after our business hours. So I appreciate you guys again. I think that move forward in the roofing space. I love the roofing industry. I love that you guys have RoofCode Pro in the first place. I've been looking for something like this for years, and you guys have developed it, and it's really helped my business. And we're going to be using it a lot this year. So thank you guys so much for having me.
Hey, thank you, John, and thank you for that ringing endorsement. We do really appreciate it, and we always appreciate the opportunity to bring in people who are in our same, in our partnership network, who are all trying to achieve the same thing. We're trying to put the tools that our contractors need into their hands and make them available. So RoofQuote Pro is casting a wide net to capture as many leads as possible. ProLine and automation coming in on the back end to kind of tighten that net up a little bit more and make sure that people don't slip through the cracks just due to, human error, forgetfulness, whatever. It really is a perfect combination of giving the customer the instant satisfaction of having their question answered and then not falling off the radar and being that contractor that shows up and is there and available for them when they need the problem solved.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thanks again, guys. You have a great day.
You as well. Thank
you.
you, John. Thank you, Courtney. We'll catch everybody next time. Take care.